morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told, out of Voice Radio. So today, we are looking at a new Heliolisk card. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are quickly running out of new cards from Forbidden Light to talk about, but for today, we still have a couple more left. One of those is Heliolisk, and this could actually be a genuinely relevant Pokemon. Now, of course, being a lightning Pokemon, it's weak to fighting, which means it's weak to Buzzwole, which is seeing a lot of play. It means it has the same weakness as Zoroark. Zoroark is the best Pokemon in the format, meaning a whole bunch of people are going to be trying to counter it, and those people will inevitably be countering this as well. Nothing we can do about it. Let's try not to cry too much. Retreat cost of 1 is very handy because it's low. Resistance to metal is very nice, but the best new metal Pokemon coming out is the new Solgaleo, which will do 100 after weakness and get a KO anyway. And that goes to say that 100 HP is, suffice it to say, not particularly awe-inspiring. Never mind. Now, there's one attack here which honestly is not particularly good and not particularly exciting, and I don't think we should spend much time on it. 1 colorless energy, 20 damage. It's not even enough to KO a Piplup, and Piplup's weak to lightning. Now, the one thing I will say is that with a Choice Band, you'll be doing 100 damage to a Ho-Oh GX, which is of course working nicely on a 2-hit KO. But then again, if you really want to do 20 to a Ho-Oh GX with a Choice Band, why not use the promo Tapu Koko, which, as well as doing 20 damage to the active, 50 and then 100, etc., with Choice Band and Weakness, will also do 20 damage to all of your opponent's bench Pokemon, and is significantly better because it's also a basic and it's got free retreat. Now, to be fair, Heliolisk is 1 colorless energy, whereas Tapu Koko is a double colorless energy. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, it's just not a good attack. That's not to say you'll never use it. Sometimes having a single energy attack that does some damage is okay. But that really is about it. This is a desperation. I've got 1 energy, and I've got a non-GX with 20 HP left, or a GX with 50 HP left. Not completely useless, but one that's going to see little play. But cards that have attacks like that don't get their own videos unless they also have a useful attack. And Heliolisk absolutely does have a useful attack. So, for free colorless energy, 80 damage. Flip a coin. If heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. And this, ladies and gentlemen, this is a useful attack. Now, couple things to note first of all. We don't have that many great lightning Pokemon as it stands. Raichu GX is seeing a little bit of play with the Snuggly Generator Pachirisu, and I'm still in love with that attack name. And Tapu Koko Promo seeing a little bit of play here and there, but that's about it. This could be a very techable lightning Pokemon because it's all for colorless energy. It's a stage 1, doesn't take a huge amount of space in your deck, and because it's for colorless energy, you can use it in any deck whatsoever. Now, these special typing energies, things like strong energy, can't be played with this, but it uses double colorless, which is super handy, and it uses any type of energy you like. This can fit into any deck whatsoever. Now, of course, the other thing to mention here is that we don't really have a huge amount of Pokemon at the moment in the metagame that are weak to lightning, that are that relevant, but there are a couple. You've got Ho-Oh GX, well, that's got 190 HP, so 80 alone wouldn't do it. A Professor Kukui would do it, or far more likely a Choice Band would do it. We've also got Empoleon. Now, Empoleon's actually, as far as I'm concerned at least, quite a nice Pokemon, and it's a fairly beefy Pokemon. It's got 160 HP. Well, the good news is that Heliolisk here will get a 1-hit KO on an Empoleon, doubling to 160 and getting a KO on the 160 HP Empoleon. This is nice. So you're hitting the numbers here, and it's a lightning Pokemon that can fit into any deck whatsoever. This is nice. And I get the question a lot. It's one of the most common questions I get asked from people who listen to the podcast over on iTunes or watch the YouTube videos or ask me over at twitter.com/thewossy. What Pokemon can I use to hit for this particular weakness? If I want to have a Pokemon that uses colorless energy that hits for a particular weakness, which Pokemon do I use? And the reality is, we don't actually have that many. If we're looking at Pokemon that can attack for colorless energy to hit a particular weakness while doing enough damage to get a KO on the relevant Pokemon, there's not actually that many around. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Heliolisk is one of them. You get a KO on Ho-Oh with a Choice Band, you get a KO on an Empoleon, and because of the colorless energy, it can go into any deck whatsoever. Numbers are good, tech ability is good, but you've also got Paralysis here. Flip a coin if heads the defending Pokemon is now paralyzed. Now, there's probably about 27 billion Pokemon cards that have had the effect on their attack of flip a coin if heads the defending Pokemon is now paralyzed. But then again, these have seen play. It's not like they've just been everywhere and we've never actually seen them. These have seen play. Now, I've used the example of the Dynamo that used to be played in electric decks quite a few times lately. But that gives us a good example. Here's the thing, though. When I talk about these cards like Dynamo, I often talk about them as, well, they will save you time. They will mean that you get a turn or two of peace while you set up. That is not what Heliolisk does. Heliolisk 2-hit KOs. And if your opponent doesn't get out the active, you're essentially getting a 1-hit KO. You are at least getting a KO without your opponent having a chance to get a return hit on you. And that alone is superb. Let's say you pop a Choice Band on here. Well, now you're hitting for 110. So let's go back to Zoroark GX, one of the most relevant Pokemon in the format. Or indeed, the most relevant Pokemon in the format. With a Choice Band, you hit for 110. If your opponent doesn't get out the active, then you hit them again, you get a KO on a 2-prize Pokemon with a 1-prize Pokemon. And that is what we call turning the prize race in your favor. Now, we must, of course, mention here that for that to work, you would need a Choice Band for both your hits. But come on, we've been playing this game long enough. Yeah, your opponent's going to have Field Blower in their deck, but they're not always going to have Field Blower on the exact turn that they need it. Sometimes they're not going to have that Field Blower, and that's where Hilarity comes in. And when I say Hilarity, I of course mean Hilarity for you. Your opponent is going to be slightly less impressed at the whole you getting a KO here. I mean, something like Buzzwole. Buzzwole's terrifying, right? Because Buzzwole with a strong energy will get a 1-hit KO on this with Jet Punch. 1 strong energy, instant KO. The thing is, let's say you hit for 110, you paralyze, and well, Buzzwole's got a retreat cost of 3. Buzzwole's quite a bulky Pokemon that doesn't get out the active very easily. And the next hit, you don't need a Choice Band. 80 will be enough at that stage to get a 1-hit KO. Now, of course, we are in a format at the moment where everybody's playing 3 or 4 Guzma and a whole bunch of players are playing Ace Roller. We've got switching and healing options, possibly more than we've had in a while. But that doesn't mean this isn't useful. Honestly, ladies and gentlemen, the only thing I'm really not liking about Heliolisk is that it's for free colorless energy. If you could do this for a double colorless energy, I would be shouting about how Heliolisk is an amazing tech and a 4-Wossy card and all of that malarkey. I really do think it's that useful. You hit the numbers and you've got Paralysis and you pretty much 2-hit KO anything. But that third energy is a pain. It means that you're going to have to dedicate too much energy to it, and that is what's really putting me off. I'm still giving Heliolisk free Wossies. I still think it's a useful tech, and I do like it a lot. But I don't think it's quite good enough for me to sit here and recommend wholeheartedly. I do, however, think it is good enough to consider using, to consider teching in, and if you want a lightning Pokemon that can go into any deck and attack for colorless energy, here is one. And I know we've got the promo Tapu Koko, but a maximum of 20 damage is not great. But as with all of these cars, ladies and gentlemen, there's a comment section. It's there for a reason. I want to know what you think about this. So let me know, ladies and gentlemen. Go nuts, but remember the rules. Be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and so on, you can do so by going to patreon.com/PTCGRadio. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.